This is part two of the game that I was looking at. And if you remember, from this position, white was only 7 moves away from checkmate and didn't see it. And so the title of this lesson is Take Your Time, Slow Down, and Look for the Best Move. I'm also going to call it Be Careful of Your Queen, because you're going to see how both sides lose their queen and basically give their opponent a scalp. Now, as you can see, white could fork black's king and queen by moving the knight here, which would be a great move. The king would be in check. When the king moves out of the way, the knight would be able to take the queen. I think black was so interested in just grabbing free pieces that black ended up moving to h7 and taking a pawn, which is 1 point. I mean, it gets a little bit of a point, but it wasn't the best move. And again, I think white was just caught up in this idea of just cleaning out this side of the board right here with the queen, rather than taking a moment to take a look at what other moves could have been made. And I encourage my chess players to pick 2 or 3 moves before they make a move, because a lot of times the second and third move that a chess player can think of is better than the first move that they're going to make. Black responds by moving the bishop to g4, and I'm really not sure why black chose to make that move. It does develop the bishop, but white could still put the knight here on d5 and fork that queen and that king. I don't think white was thinking. I think white was just trying to grab as many points as possible. And white, seeing that the bishop is here, wanted to capture that piece, but white didn't put a whole lot of thought into the move. White ended up putting queen on g8. Do you see the terrible mistake that white made by moving the queen to g8? It's this move here. Rook, take queen, and black gets a scalp. I'm always surprised at how many games are played in chess club where one opponent can take another opponent's queen for free. It happens all the time. And this game was a game played by 2 first board players. And so first board players give up these moves all the time. And they're there, but you just have to be patient and take the time to not only look for 2 or 3 moves and pick the best, but also that if you're going to move a piece like white did here, before touching the move and touching the piece and moving it, think, what would happen if I move here? And white didn't take that into consideration, didn't think what black's response would be. And so black captures the queen. All is not hopelessly lost, though, for white, because white still has this move here to d5. But again, I think white was thinking way too quickly and didn't take time to think of 2 or 3 other moves to make. Instead, white moves to h4. I tell chess players to think, what's the threat after every move that is made by an opponent? And I don't think black took the time to think about what the threat was. Why do you think white moved here to h4? And if you want to take a second to see what white's next move could possibly be, you can go ahead and do that. But what black did was black decided to attack that pawn. Really didn't take the time to think what white was going to do with that pawn right there. One thing that is good, though, is that black now has an X-ray attack here set up on the other rook. So now this piece is pinned, and it's possible that it could go down. Well, the reason for white moving to h4 was to do this move, which is a pin against the queen and the king. And just like white gave up their queen for free, black is now going to give up their queen for a piece that's less than the value of another queen. Again, I'm amazed at how often this happens in chess games. I think it's actually pretty easy to take an opponent's queen. You just have to take the time and be patient to do it. But if you do take your opponent's queen, Please guard your queen with your life, because I've seen a lot of chess players at Madison and Washington who get ahead by a queen and then just end up giving that queen back. Black knows that it's going to lose the queen, so black goes ahead and takes. White recaptures, but luckily black had that pin in place, and so black can now go down and take the rook. If you remember, just a few moves ago, white was 7 moves away from checkmate. Well, now white is only ahead by the equivalent of 2 points. So chess games move back and forth like this constantly. And sometimes being a great chess player is like being a great detective, taking your magnifying glass and looking for clues. And the more time that a private investigator or a detective looks at a scene and looks for clues, the more clues are going to become uncovered. And it's the same way with chess. If you're playing a chess game, the more time that you spend looking for clues and studying what's happening in the position, the more likely you're going to find a great move. And I like to say that there are great moves in every chess position. You just have to look for them and find them.